What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Showmance, and today I'm showing you guys how I apply my base makeup. This has been a question that a lot of you guys have asked me before. Even some of my friends, I get a lot of questions about my base, and I just thought today I would take the time to kind of step by step run through how I apply my base makeup and how long it takes, because it does take a little bit of time and a little bit back and forth. So if you guys want to see how I apply my base makeup, keep on watching. So after I've prepped my skin, I like to go over my moisturizer. If I'm going out during the day, I would replace my Charlotte Tilbury moisturizer for something that has SPF in it, and I usually use the Lancome UV Expert Defense 50. This has SPF 50 in it, and it is phenomenal under makeup. But because I'm getting ready to go in the night, I am going to use my Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I'm just going to use 1 pump of this, or 1.5 really, and I'm going to put it in the areas where I want my pores to be filled in. If I have any open pores or anything like that, I'm just going to, I don't like to put a lot of primer on my face, just because I like for a bit of the moisturizer and everything to kind of come together with my foundation to give me more of a glowy look. Okay, so once I'm done with my Milk Hydro Grip, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna mix my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless foundation and my Pat McGrath foundation together to give me a really nice airbrush finish over my face. So this is what I like to do. On my brush, I go straight in, I apply 1 pump of this foundation, and I apply 1 pump of the other foundation, and I just like to dot them over my face. As you can see, these are distinctly different colors, but because of what my skin looks like now that I'm all the way tanned, I am able to mix these two for a perfect color match. And I like to just stipple in small little strokes, just small little strokes. I don't put a lot of foundation on my forehead just because I really like a natural finish. So I just use whatever's left on the brush and I just stipple it. You want to make sure that you're also taking your foundation and you're blending down your neck, because we don't want unblended necks over here. This is the part of the skin that I like doing the most. Oh, sorry, the part of the makeup that I like doing the most. Just applying foundation and making my skin look even, and it's so satisfying to me. Okay, once I've finished with that, what I like to do is take my beauty blender. It's a damped beauty blender, and I just like to pat over my face. This takes away any streaks that the brush may have left and just gives me a more even finish. Okay, so once I am satisfied with how my foundation has gone on, it's now time for me to do my concealer under eye. And I'm gonna use the shade Maple to just, I don't know why I like to use it, because I don't have much to conceal under here, but I just like to add it under here. This is much like my skin tone. I just add a little bit of something underneath there. And then what I do is I take my concealer brush and I just move the product around. This concealer, because it is not brightening or anything, it doesn't have to stay on my face too long. I can go ahead and blend this out immediately for that more, you know, seamless effect underneath the eye. Now I'm just gonna go ahead off camera and do my brows, and I'll come right back. So my brows are on, and I'm just gonna go in with that same concealer, Too Faced Born This Way Maple, and clean up underneath in case I made any mistakes or anything like that. I do this really quickly because my eyebrows don't take me that long. I'm just going through to show you guys the steps that I do. I don't always do the top, but sometimes I do. If I want an extra sculpted brow, I'll do the top as well. I just like to drag this down here. My brows are never even, so I just go with the shape of whatever is there. Most of the time when you look at me straight on, you would see that my brows are not even, but you know, so it goes. So now that that's cleaned up, I take my beauty blender again and I just kind of work the product in. I just like to stipple. I don't like to drag anything across my face because you don't want to be moving your products. So it's important to know that if you are going with a very big, bold eye that involves like loose pigments or glitters or anything like that, that will give you a lot of fallout, you should probably do your base last. I don't like to do my base last, but you know, if you're going in with colors like that, then you want to do that. But because today is just going to be focused on my base and how I get it to look kind of airbrushed and flawless, I'm just going to go in with my Morphe Brontour just to give my eyes a little bit of definition. So I'm going to go in with the darker shade over here, and I'm just going to pop it in the crease. Okay, so this is another part that's very important. If you want to contour your nose, I like to take a little bit of this same Brontour and I like to just bring it down my nose, just lightly bringing it down, because I want to make sure that everything is connected in place. So you see there's just a slight difference between what's going on here and what's going on here. I don't like to change the shape of my nose too much, and I like to, well, reverse contour more so than I like to do this step. But if you want to take this step, go right ahead. It's not something that I do very often. So you want to start here and you want to just bring it down the side of your nose. This is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets fun. I'm gonna take the Too Faced Born This Way in Butterscotch. This is what I use to brighten my under eye, and I just use a little bit. I plop maybe like 3 little things like this, and I go in the middle of my face because now I want to bring out my nose contour. So I go in the middle and I do a line straight, or as straight down as I can get it. I can't get a straight line to save my life, and I just do a little bit of feathering out here somewhere. This I will leave on for a little while. I'll go and finish off my eyes and everything, and I will blend this out maybe after about 3 minutes or so, because I just want this to dry down so that the color, as much pigment stays on my face as possible, so it's brighter. So let me go on and finish my eyes off camera and I will be right back. My eyes, I just put on a little bit of green, little sultry soft eyeliner from Burt's Bees, I think it was. And I just put on some Cosmetics mascara. It's my favorite mascara. That's all I did. So I'm gonna start to blend this out now with a brush. It's very important, I think, to blend with a brush because you get, to me, you have more control over the product and where you move it and how much you move where with a brush. So I like to, especially when it comes to like the nose contouring and stuff, you want to make sure that you're doing stuff, well, for the corner of your nose, you want to make sure you're doing it straight before you then go in after with your beauty blender and you just stipple in and fix and all that stuff. So I always make sure that I go in with my brush first so that I'm moving the product and placing it exactly where I want to place it. So I'll just go over here, blend this one out. You can clearly see now that I have a little bit of contour nose thing going on here. That is what I'm looking for. So I will go ahead now and blend out the middle of my forehead. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect when you're blending it out with the brush. You just want to make sure that the product is spread where you want it to spread. Let me take a little close-up mirror to do this. You just want to spread it where you want it highlighted and you're going to go over it. So just make sure that you're spreading it where you want it to go. And then for the middle here, you want to sort of go down and just blend downwards. Okay, so we have the shape that we want from our nose and we have everything else situated where we want it to go. So we're gonna start blending now with the Beauty Blender. Blending is literally more than 90% of the job that you will do when you're applying your base makeup. It is so, and even eyeshadow, it's so important to be able to blend your makeup properly and seamlessly because that's what's gonna make it look more natural. We don't want to look cake over here. We want to just make sure that we look as natural as possible. So this, my friends, is not okay. So actually for this step, I have a smaller beauty blender that I use for my nose, but you can use the big beauty blender if you don't have this little small one. I like to pinch it. Either one you use, you just go in and pinch it and you start to tap it out, because what you want to do is remove some of the product on your nose. You don't want to have all that product left on your nose. You want to start to remove some product. And then you just gently go over the lines that you would have created before. Actually, let me change from using the small beauty blender to the big one so you guys get a better understanding if you have a big beauty blender. So you want to pinch it and you want to just go in and gently go over the lines that's there so that it's not so harsh, but it's still giving you something. I love applying base makeup. It's so satisfying to me. Okay, no, we're not done yet because now we have to apply our powders. We're now gonna go in with the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Powder. I love this powder because it's so like velvety. It's so airbrushed. Like you don't even notice that it's there. I don't like translucent powder for under my eyes. I know some people do, but I have generally dry under eyes, so I don't like using anything that will make my under eye look more dry. So a pressed powder is usually what I would go in with under here. And I just like to... It's so important to learn the curves and crevices of your face, because that actually, sometimes I move my face around to help me place product where I need to place it, just based on the curves that are in my face already. And then what I like to do now with the corner of my nose is I like to place powder right here, like this, just to kind of set the side of my nose. And again, back with my beauty blender, and I just like to tap everything in. So now that my face is kind of almost complete, now you can go in with your under eye, whatever products you want to do there. I'm just going to apply some mascara underneath my eyes, and I'll be right back. So generally after that step is when you would apply your eyeshadows, if you want to go in with shadow under your eye or anything, because underneath the eye is complete. Now we're going to move on to lightly sculpting our cheeks, and I use my Brontour for this, or sometimes I just going arbitrarily with a blush and use that, but today I'm going to give you guys the full works. If you don't know where to start contouring from, do your mouth like this so that you get to see the line, and you want to push the product in above that line. I'm using for this a Morphe E4 brush. I really like this brush for this because it just hugs the face, and I like to stipple in first before I start to kind of lightly pull the product. You could do this for a bronzer as well. I like to mix the two because I do have bronzer and a contour in here, and I like to do the same thing on the other side. Just finding where your cheekbone is, and you want to stipple above it. And once the product is down, now you can kind of drag. And I also like to go around my forehead, right on my hairline, just so that everything is blended. I have quite a big forehead, so I just like to create a little bit of a shadow here so that, you know, my face is sculpted all the way through. And then I just drag whatever is left on there around my chin, and that's it. Now I like to go in with my blush. Today for blush, I'm gonna go in with Milk Makeup Rally. I love using cream blushes because it just gives me a really nice glow on top of whatever's already down. So sometimes I don't even have to wear highlighter with this blush because it is so nice. It gives such a great sheen, and I rarely use powder blush. I really like to use the blushes that are, you know, that gives me that extra glow and extra sheen, and I get that with Rally. And I use another one from Elf Cosmetics. It's really affordable. It's their multi-use stick, I think is what it's called. And yeah, so these blushes give me, like, you can just see, like, this is a blush. It's not a highlighter, it's a blush. It gives me a nice flush of color, but it also highlights the areas that I put, and I really like that because I'm not a girl that likes a beaming highlight. I like something that is soft and subtle. And there it is. Lastly, I'm just gonna put on a bit of something on my lips. This is the Lip Maestro by Georgio Armani. And there you have it, babes. This is how I do my face. makeup, it's a lot. It takes a really long time because it's a lot of back and forth, but the end result to me is so worth it. It makes my skin, everything I do, the back and forth makes my skin look flawless at the end of the day, and that's what you're looking for. So like this video if you liked what you saw. Let me know in the comments below how you do your base makeup, if you're gonna try my techniques, and also what else would you guys like to see on the channel. Until my next video, thanks guys, bye.